Hi everyone, welcome to this video on the paper 2 reading exam for EDUQAS. We're going to look at questions 1 to 6. So remember, you get 6 questions in the exam. They will always be on the same theme, so the extracts will be on the same thing. This one is 2 people going to see gorillas in the wild. So we've got the modern extract, which is Cole Pilkington talking from his diary from India abroad, going to see the gorillas. And we've got the older extract from Mary Kingsley, who in 1897 went to see the gorillas, and she wrote a book called Travels in West Africa. So question 1 and 3 are exactly the same. They're information retrieval. So you've got to find the details in the text that the question's asking for. And my advice would be try to write a full sentence. It can be a short one. So for example, if you read this extract here on the left and the question was, which famous building did Cole visit in India? You track through the text, you find the famous building, which is Taj Mahal, and then you would literally write when Carl went to visit the Taj Mahal. In this case, you've got 3 questions. What type of walking equipment is given to each trekker? How far away from Carl is a huge silverback? What is the name of Carl Pilkington's guide on the track? So if you want to, you can pause the video and go for the answers yourself. I'm just going to go through the answers. So pause the video if you want to read. So what type of walking equipment is given to each trekker? Look through it. It says a walking stick. How far away from Carl is the huge silverback gorilla? 10 feet away. What is the name of his guide on the trek? David or Dave. So like I say, it's a nice, easy question. It's meant to be a nice introduction to the exam. If you don't find all the answers after a couple of minutes, leave it and go back at the end. You can't spend 5 minutes looking for 1 mark. You've got to get the 10-mark questions in the exam. The main way people don't get the grade they want in the exam is they spend too long on the low mark questions and they don't get to question 5 and 6, which are easy peasy. So question 2. So question 2 is language analysis, same as question 4. And this question is, how does the writer try to make his trip to see the gorillas sound very tiring but a memorable experience? So you've got 2 things to look for. And from now on in the exam, you must refer to the text to support your comments. In other words, every point you make, back it up with a quote. So why do we want a lot of quotes? You should almost think about it as each quote you do, you're going to get a mark if it's correct. So the person on the left only did 2 quotes, so they got 2 out of 10. The person on the right did 10 quotes, so they got a 10 out of 10. So think to yourself, if I only do 3 quotes, I'm only going to get 3 out of 10. And really, the average to get a grade 4, you need to get at least 4 out of 10 on a 10-mark question. My advice to my students is be a human dictionary, pick out certain words and say what they mean. So before we read the extract, let's say the quote was, seeing these animals was a treat. If I was a human dictionary or thesaurus, what does treat mean? Well, it really means a special, enjoyable occasion or experience. So really, I'm going to put that into my answer. So I've got the writer shows the trip was a memorable experience with the quote, seeing these animals was a real treat. This shows Carl found it a special and enjoyable experience. So my light blue is my sentence starter. A lot of the time the sentence starter should be the question. My yellow is my quote, and my blue is explaining what that word, what are the connotations of the word treat. Also, I always tell my students who say, how do I get 7 or 8 quotes? And my main advice would be to mix it up between quotes you explain and quotes you don't need to explain. So say if it was the same question, how does he show it was tiring? And literally the quote is, I was exhausted. You would get a mark for just saying, the writer shows he was tired when he says, I was exhausted. That quote is so easy and so simple. You don't need to dive into it because it's such an easy one. You'd get an easy tick. So my advice would be, if you're doing this question and you're looking for 8 or 9 quotes, like I've put here in my bad handwriting, try to do 4 or 5 quotes where maybe you have to explain it, and 2 or 3 where they're easy answers. So the ones I've zoomed in on here are knackering. I mean, that's an easy one. You wouldn't have to explain that. And then he says it was a perfect sight. So that's maybe one where you'd have to analyse it. Okay, so yeah, go through the text. Always make sure you take quotes from all over the text. I'm not saying you'd have to explain all of these, but highlight anything that makes it seem tiring or memorable. And these are the ones that I picked out. Feel free to pause the video to see, maybe think to yourself, why have I highlighted those words? Why are they telling me? And I'll go through a couple. Okay, so the first one is an easy one. So like I said, so one of the quotes says, even the fittest of us were huffing and puffing 20 minutes in. So really simple. That's pretty obvious. It sounds tiring. So I've put, the writer shows it was physically tiring by saying, even the fittest of us were huffing and puffing 20 minutes in. So nice, simple quote, nice, easy mark. If it said knackering day, which it does in the text, if I was a human dictionary, what does it say? Well, it says exhausted, tired, worn out. So again, just put that into your answer. So the writer shows the trip was tiring by describing it as a knackering day. This suggests he was exhausted and worn out. So again, blue is my question, yellow is my quote, purple is explaining why I've chosen that word, the effect on the reader. Okay, another one, incredible privilege to stare into the eyes of a wild yet beautiful creature. So again, human dictionary, what does privilege mean? Yeah, it basically means an honour. So again, put that into my answer. The writer shows the trip was memorable by describing it as a privilege. He feels it was an honour and that he was lucky to be there. Again, blue is my question, yellow is my quote, purple is explaining the effects of the word. My feet were throbbing and so was my head. So this is going to be one for tiring. So you've got a few things in there. So again, what does throbbing mean? It means pounding, pulsing, aching, painful, stinging. Again, put it in your answer. The writer shows the trip was tiring by describing throbbing pain to his feet and head. This suggests the trip caused him a stinging and pounding pain. Again, the connotations of the word throbbing. It was a perfect sight. So again, awesome, beautiful, blissful, excellent, fabulous. The writer shows the trip was memorable by describing Carl seeing the gorillas as a perfect sight. This suggests it was the best thing he's ever seen. Okay, so here are all of mine. So I've only put 6 on there. I'd probably want 8 in an ideal world, but 2 of them are those really easy ones that would only take me 30 seconds to write. So again, if you're looking for 8, try to do 2 or 3 that are easy, and another one you need to explain. So there's another one in there that I haven't mentioned. The quote was clambering through bushes. Again, what does clambering mean? Basically means this tells the reader Carl had to climb or move in an awkward and laborious way, probably using both hands and feet. Again, that sounds tiring. Okay, question 3 is exactly the same as question 1, but it's on the other extract. So again, if you want to pause the video, pause it. How far away was Mary Kingsley from the gorillas? 30 yards. Name one other animal that Mary Kingsley came across. Elephants, leopards, and pythons. And what disturbed the gorillas when Mary Kingsley was watching them? David was sneezing. So again, nice simple question. Shouldn't take you long. Should get 3 out of 3. If you can't find one, go back at the end. Question 4 is exactly the same as question 2, but it's on the other extract. And normally the other extract is a bit tougher to read, but it shouldn't be written like in Shakespearean. It should be easy to understand, but maybe just a few more archaic words. So again, same as question 2, 15 minutes, 10 marks. Try to do 5, 7, 9, 10 quotes, depending on your time. Again, want a lot of quotes equal marks, so do as many quotes as you can. So even though I've said try to do 5 to 8 quotes, really it's what you do in the time. So you've got about 15 minutes, do as many quotes as you can in 15 minutes. Once, really important, once that's done, you move on. You've got to get to questions 5 and 6. But again, we're being a human dictionary. So if Mary Kingsley captured our mixed feelings, that's good and bad. If I said I was horrified when I saw the gorillas, again, they could have put I was annoyed, I was moody when I saw the gorillas. But again, horrified, human dictionary, human thesaurus, what does it mean? It means extremely shocked. So the writer captures her mixed feelings with the quote, I was horrified when I saw the gorillas. This shows Mary was extremely shocked when she met them. So again, blue is the question, yellow is my quote, green is the connotation of the word used. Again, same as question 2, try to do an easy one. So if the question is, how does she capture her feelings? And the quote is literally, I was so happy when I saw them. You can literally put, the writer tells the reader she was so happy when she saw the gorillas. Again, it's such an easy quote. Don't waste time doing a big explanation because all you're going to be doing is repeating the point that she's happy. So nice, easy question, get a mark, move on to a more convoluted text. Okay, so again, Mary Kingsley captures her mixed feelings. So you're probably looking for 3 or 4 good and bad things she says about the gorillas. Again, use text to support your answer. So if you want to pause the video. But again, try to pick a few easy ones and a few more difficult ones. Feel free to pause the video if you want to read the text. Again, these are the ones that I picked out. Again, pause the video if you want to look at them. Have a think to yourself, why do you think I've highlighted them? And I'll go through a few of them. Okay, start with an easy one, nice easy one. She says in the text, the gorilla is the most horrible wild animal I've ever seen. Again, it's easy. This is a gift of a quote. It's really easy. You could zoom into it and you could analyze it, but you're only going to get a 1 mark. So if it's a dead simple one, just put it in a sentence. The writer shows negative feelings by saying the gorilla is the most horrible wild animal I've ever seen. Great. You'd get a mark. go on to another quote where you may have to explain it more. So another one. Tearing to pieces, this is talking about the gorillas and the food, tearing to pieces and eating a pineapple, attacking the bananas, destroying more than they ate. So again, if you look at the verbs used here, they're all saying the same thing, aren't they? That the gorilla's powerful, it's quite aggressive. So again, tearing, what does tearing mean? Ripping and breaking. What does attacking mean? It's an aggressive and violent act. What does destroying mean? You damage something so badly it can't be used. So all of these are very aggressive, very powerful verbs. So I put, the writer shows her feelings with the quote, tearing to pieces, attacking and destroying, to describe how she views the gorillas. All three quotes suggest aggression, power and violence. Again, yellow is my question, purple is my quote, green are the connotations of the word. A graceful, powerful, superbly perfect hand trapeze performance. So this is a quote when the gorillas leave the area where Mary is and they swing through the trees. So she's used the word graceful. So again, what does graceful mean? If you use a human dictionary and thesaurus, it means pleasing, attractive, elegant. So I put, the writer shows positive feelings by describing the gorilla's movement. A graceful hand trapeze performance. This shows she thinks they look attractive and elegant. Again, the definition of the word graceful. So it's actually the same quote, but this time I'm going to zoom into a different part. The superbly perfect hand trapeze performance. So again, human dictionary, what does superb mean? Excellent, extremely good. What does perfect mean? Pure, complete, consummate, absolute, faultless. Again, put that into a sentence. This shows she thinks it was extremely skilled and could not be bettered. Okay, question 5. So question 5 is this first question in the exam where we're looking at both texts. However, I want you to do question 5 and 6 exactly the same way. So question 5 is 4 minutes and it's 4 marks. Remember, if a question in the exam is 1, 2, 3 or 4 marks, it's comprehension. It's basically picking a word out and saying, basic comprehension. Get a word from the text. Whatever the question is asked you, grab it from the text, put it into a sentence. So it's the same as question 1 and 3, but it's for both texts. The only difference is you put it into sentences. This means you needed to pick out 2 quotes from each text. You don't have to compare in this question, so you don't need to say, Cole Pilkington says this. However, Mary Kingsley disagrees. And you know PE, so you don't need to explain your answers. Be clear which text you're talking about. And it does say that in the text. So if you look where in the blue, make it clear which text you're referring to. The easiest way of doing that is using their names. So this question is using information from both texts, explain briefly what gorillas eat. So look at Cal Pilkington's text. Give me 2 things he says about what the gorillas eat. Look at Mary Kingsley's text. Give me 2 things she says. Okay. And this is how you should structure it. These aren't real answers, but this is how you should structure it. You won't get a quote mark for just putting a quote, but just do a little sentence starter. I've put a little subheading for Cole Pilkington and Mary Kingsley. Really nice way of setting out your answers. So again, if I look through Cole Pilkington's, feel free if you want to pause and look for the food. But basically he says the gorillas eat a lot of ants, they eat grass and they eat bamboo. While in Mary Kingsley one, she says they eat pineapples and they eat bananas. So just put in a sentence. So Cole Pilkington, underline it. He says gorillas eat a lot of ants. He says he saw a young gorilla eating grass. Another gorilla was chewing bamboo. Kingsley saw the gorillas attacking the bananas. She also saw them eating a pineapple. So I put 5 there. I only needed 4, but nice simple question. I'd get 4 out of 4 marks for that one. So question 6 is exactly the same as question 5, but you need more quotes. It's worth 10 marks. It's about 15 minutes. So you need to pick out 4 or 5 quotes from each extract. Again, you don't need to compare. On the question, it will say compare, but you can get 9 out of 10 just by doing the same technique as question 5. And again, you don't need to explain your answers. But again, be clear which text you're talking about. The easiest way of doing that is like I put in blue here, is by using the surname, so make it clear. So this question is, both of these texts are about what writers see in the wild, and what you're looking for is actions or behaviours of the gorillas in the wild. So basically anything that Carl and Mary saw the gorillas doing. So it could be a mother holding its young, it could be a gorilla swinging through the trees, or it could be gorillas fighting, for example. Okay, so again, this is what your structure should be like. You should try to do 4 of these. Again, exactly the same as question 4. Do a little sentence starter and give me the quote that proves it. If you want to go back to the few minutes ago and have a look at the extracts, see if you can find the actions or behaviours of the gorillas. If not, I'll do it now. So Cole said he saw a mother gorilla feeding its kid. Another was sat on his own 40 feet away from his mother. One gorilla ate grass using its feet. He heard a long growl from one gorilla. He also saw one gorilla sat just off the main road. Mary Kingsley, underline her name. She saw the gorillas pulling down bananas. She says the gorillas made a shrill, whinnying, chattering noise. She says they moved in an inelegant style. They made a sound somewhere between a bark and a howl. She saw the old male gorilla swinging himself from bough to bough. So remember, some of these quotes you might notice have come up in previous question. It's absolutely fine to repeat quotes from previous questions if they fit another question. Okay, so like I said, I haven't explained any of these answers. I haven't compared any, but I'd get 9 out of 10 for this question. And considering this is the last question in the exam, you'd be running out of time. Take the 9 out of 10 and move on. Okay, so to recap then, time manage. When your time is up on a question, move on. If it's a low mark question, you spend about 4 or 5 minutes, you don't need to explain. 10 marks, 13 to 15 minutes, you do have to explain the majority of your answers. But again, if you can do 3 or 4 quotes that are easy, just shove them in a sentence. Keep your eye on the clock throughout the exam. Leave a 1-line gap between all your answers so it's clear for the examiner. There's no need to say a word is a verb or noun or adjective. Just pick out the word and give its effect to the reader. If you run out of time on a 10-mark question, don't explain your answers. Just put it in a sentence and make sure you finish all questions. Hope this has been some use to you.